Hello, I just want to talk briefly, very briefly, about Project 2, the landscape. These are the specs here, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but this is just to give you a little bit more information. So this project does mimic a professional illustration project very, very closely. You're going to create a 7-inch by 9-inch image to illustrate a short story. And the short story is given to you. It's attached with the specs. And where did I put it here? There it is. So it's not your first mission is to read the short story that you're going to be illustrating. It's only 2 pages. It's very brief. So and this is where your illustration is going to eventually appear, when you get this thing done, theoretically anyway. So read the story, read it thoroughly, read it carefully, go over it. What imagery pops out at you? What do you think is the main theme of this story? What do you think is the mood of the story? How would you illustrate this story? Now, every person is going to have like a different takeaway from this, which is what's nice about art and illustration. So you're going to read this story and maybe read it a few times and maybe take notes and what symbols are in the story, what events happen, what is it do you want to pull out and show the viewer? Okay, now I'll go back to the specs in a second, but your illustration should complement the story. Complement with an E, L-E-M-E-N-T. That means the illustration should complete the story or add to the story. So that's one thing, but wait, there's more, as they say in the biz. The client also wants the image to be a landscape. Okay, so landscape. So remember that we're illustrating something here, so a simplified, stylized illustration is okay. You are not painting a hyper-realistic landscape. So, for example, if you want to stylize this, so it's heavily textured, or like maybe there's some symbolism in the background or something that's informing the viewer what's going on. And again, this mimics a professional job. So, you're given the size and the specs, and they're just saying, okay, read the story, make an illustration for it, and hey, by the way, I want it to be a landscape. I mean, that's what the client is asking for, so you have to deliver that. Now, it's up to you to be creative, put your own stylization into this, your own spin on it. It's up to you to pull out what you think is the most relevant things, relevant moods, relevant symbols, relevant events, or whatever in the story and portray them visually. And again, I say this in the specs, but I'll say it here. You can't illustrate everything in the story. Okay, so you'll read the story. There's many things that are in there. Okay, so mentioned, you can't have every symbol crammed into one illustration. You can't have every event crammed into one illustration. So, but what you want to do is interpret the story visually. And yes, it's not easy, and it takes creativity. You have to be selective. So that is what you'll be working on for Project 2.